Good morning, this is your Math Sensei, Mr. Sensei, and this is Strike Time Unit 2 test review over domain and range and function notation. So a lot of time we have these mappings, and I'm really bad about this, but the first one is the X, the second one is the Y. I should be labeling those. And the easiest way for me to approach this is to sit there and make a T-chart of X and Y values. So I see that -3 maps to 10, I -4 maps to 11, and -4 maps to 12, and -5 maps to 13. Okay, our very first question is this a function or a non-function? Well, because the x's repeat, I have two -4s, because those repeat, this is a non-function. Please remember, x's cannot repeat for it to be a function. So I need to list my domain. We want to go in smallest to largest order. Well, our smallest value is -5 because it's furthest to the left. Then we have -4. We do not record repeats. And then we write -3 and we close the brackets off. On our range, it's already in order from least to greatest. And so we can just write 10, 11, 12, and 13. So continuing on. Is it a function or not? Well, let's make a T-chart and find out whether or not X repeats or not. So I see a 4, 5, an 8, 5. I see a 12, 10, and a 16, 15. I notice the Y's repeat, but that's okay. It's only the X's that cannot repeat. And since the X's do not repeat, this is in fact a function. Right? Once again, it's a function if the x's do not repeat. So my domain is purely the x values listed in order from least to greatest. So 4, 8, 12, 16. Our y's, we don't write the repeats. We just write it down once. So 5, 10, 15. All right, function or non-function? Well, we're going to use the same methodology we used before because essentially these are ordered pairs. But for whatever reason, I like to see it vertically. So I'm going to write -4, 5, -2, 1. I wrote that wrong. -2, -2. Then I have 1, -3, 2, -1, and 4, -2. When I look at this, I look at those x values and none of the x values repeat. So this is a function because no x value repeats. So this is going to be -4, -2, 1, 2, and 4. I have to be careful with the range here because we need to be in order from least to greatest, and the least value or the furthest to the left is -3. I check that off once I write it. I see I have two -2s. I only write it one time. So that takes care of the -2s. Then I have a -1. I check that off, and then I have a +5. Our next, we have doing the exact same thing. And my ordered pair, first one is 3, 1. Then I have 4, -2, 4, 2, and 6, 3. But when I look at that, I go, oh, these fours repeat. I have x's that repeat. If x's repeat, this is a non-function. The domain, though, is just 3, 4, 6. And the range, again, beginning with least to greatest, the least value of the range is -2. And then it's just 1, 2, 3. All right. This works exactly like we've been doing. We're going to make a table or T-chart to see if we have any repeating x's. And please remember, this helps a lot of students just to sit there and go back and label these x, y, x, y, x, y, just to make sure you get them in the right spot. So in this case, we have -5 and 6. And by the way, this is going to be a little bit tight. I may run out of room. -6 and 4, 2, -3, 9, 8, and 9, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I notice These nines repeat. Because the nines repeat and x's cannot repeat, this is a non-function. Okay, listing in order from least to greatest. My smallest value, be careful, is -6. Then it's -5. Then it's 2. And then it's 9. On the range, and remember the range is the y values. The smallest y value is -3. That checks off. Then we have 1. Then we have 4, followed by 6, followed by 8. Okay. Again, we're going to list the domain and range. And in this case, we're still going to put our X's and Y's, and we're going to go back and label our X's and Y's to make sure that we don't make a careless error. Remember, this doesn't take but a couple of seconds. Maybe it takes 5 seconds, but if it gets you the right answer, it's worth the time. You have plenty of time, so we don't want to miss careless things. So -6.7, -9.2, 9 -5, 1 -7, and 6.2. All right, when I look at this, I don't see any X's that repeat. I see on the Y side, on the range, I see 2's repeat, but that's okay for Y's to repeat. No X's repeat. Because no X's repeat, this is a function. All right, so this is going to be a function. And then ask us to list the domain. Again, we're going to go in the least to greatest order, where the least number is -9, followed by -6, followed by 1, 1, then 6, and last 9. Going to the range, the smallest value or furthest to the left is -7, followed by -5, followed by 2, and we have 2 of those, and we only need to write it the one time, and then we go to 7. All right, so which ordered pair can also belong to the function? Select all that apply. Well, to be a function, the x's can't repeat, and when I look at this, none of the x's do repeat. Okay, is -3 in there? And the answer is, no, there is no -3. So we can select this. So A is okay. It can be part of it. This next one, I see, oh, this X has a -2. Because basically I'm just looking at the X's. I really don't care about the Y's. Are those X's repeating? And when I look at it, I go, well, that -2. I have a -2 right here. So this one can't be part of it. I look to see if there's a +2. There are no +2s. There's 2's on this side, but none on this side. It's good to go. So C is fine. 1 to 7. Well, guess what? I have a 1 here. So this one cannot be. So far, we have A, we have C, and then we have -4, 0. Well, this is 0, -4, but guess what? -4, it's not repeating. So this one is also good. So we actually have ACE, which hopefully you will ace our test. All right. Let FP equals 0.10, where P represents the number of pages printed and F of P represents the total cost in dollars. If a printer can print a maximum of 5 pages in one job, so basically it can print 0 pages, 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, or 5 pages, what is a reasonable domain? Well, if P is pages, and they're saying, oh, it can do a maximum pages, whatever this is, that P represents my X value. So this is my Y value. I'm going to do this in blue so it shows up a little better, hopefully. So this is my Y value. F of P is my Y, and this is my X. So I can sit there and go, well, 5 pages, that's my X value. You can do the max of 5 pages. So it asks for what's a reasonable domain and range. Well, domain, don't want to forget, that's our X values. Well, the max it could do is 5 pages, but it could do 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's possible it broke down and didn't print any. So the max it can do is 5 pages, and then it asks for the range. All right. And remember that the range is the y values. So I need to plug in to this equation. All right. And instead of 0.1, let's just make this, I'll leave it at 0.1. We'll go to the calculator and we'll start plugging in so that we can show you the math. We can go 0.1 parenthesis 0 because all we did was plug in 0 for P. Oops. There we go, 0.1 times 0. And then we get 0. So our first range value is 0. Then I'm going to plug in 1, and I go 0.1 time parenthesis. And it always, always, always put parentheses around the variable. So really, I should write this as y equals 0.10x. Because remember, f of p is the y, and this is 0.10 times p. So all I did was replace the f of p with a y and this with the x. This lets me know that, oh, that's my range. This is my domain. This is my input. This is my output. So I'm going to input the domain here. And so I'm going to go 0.10 times 1. And I get 0.1. Then I do it for 2. And I'm going to go 0.1 parenthesis 2. And I get 0.2. And I think you can see the pattern. But just in case, 0.1 parenthesis 3, 0.3, and basically 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. I kind of ran out of room, so I'm going to rewrite that range. So my range is 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and 0.5. All right, this concludes this video. Second part of the review will be in the next video. Appreciate you watching. Hope you'll see you on the next one. Thank you.